Good morning, everybody. It's Danny and Wanda back from Deepsouth Homestead. We're over here at Pecan Grove. Been some questions asked, and I thought maybe I would try to address some of those questions before we actually get started here. One is about our raised beds. You know, how do I build my raised beds? Well, in the Deep South, I use treated lumber because if you don't, the termites will eat it up in a few weeks. And even the treated lumber gets eat up with termites because it's micronized copper is what it's treated with. And they'll probably last for 3 to 4 years, and then they'll break down to the point that the termites will eat them. But the way we do it is I use some of my stuff as leftover material, some of it I order new. Like this is a 60-foot bed we have here. I ordered 20-foot because of the lay of the land. Let me say this is a pretty steep hillside. Because of the lay of the land, I ordered a 20-foot 2x8 to go on the bottom and a 20-foot 2x6 to go on the top. That's what we used for our sides on our raised bed. Now the stakes inside the raised beds are leftover treated lumber that I had ripped down. They're 2x2s. It was left over from long boards that I ripped on the table saw. I cut up stakes like these right here, and then I sharpened the points off on them, and we just, we drive them in the ground every 4 foot. Now on the corners, I don't drive it right in the corner. I come off the corner about 6 inches and drive them so that I have room to put my cross pieces in here, and the stake is not in the way. The stake's actually over to the side of the cross pieces, and to keep it out of the way. Now that is about the stakes. Now the question has been asked about the hoops. The hoops is 1/2-inch pecks. Now you can use blue or red, it don't matter. And what I do on the pecks is this right here. It's 3/8 rebar. You can buy it at our local hardware store in 2-foot lengths. 3/8 rebar will slide right up in 1/2-inch pecks perfectly. And then you can stick it down in your raised bed to whatever the desired height is to make your hoops to go over it. And then we'll be coming back with a agricultural fabric like this right here. Rain and water can go through it, but bugs cannot go through it to lay eggs on our cabbages and stuff like that. And two, it prevents the hot sun during warm days in the wintertime. It's a frost protection blanket also. Keeps the deer from coming along, nibbling the tops off of them and stuff like that. It's a very good product to invest in. I think it's called AgriFab. Handles it, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's where we got ours from. And it comes in like a 13-foot wide roll by 100 feet long. And there's plenty there to do whatever you need to do with. Okay, we have a portion of our 60-foot bed here, which is a 20-foot section that's actually unfinished. I've dumped some of the dirt in here from the pond. And I've still got to put the side on it and get it done. We was kind of waiting for it to rain a little bit. These wooden stakes, I tried driving them with a sledgehammer because I have a bad neck and I couldn't drive them in, so I took the bucket of my tractor and tried to pound them in. Well, that wouldn't work. The ground was too hard, so I decided to let it rain to see if it would soften it. And of course, we can't seem to get any rain. Okay, now that this bed is going to be our garlic and our multiplying onions, this one is strictly right now for cabbage during the cool weather time of the year. Now we put a rosemary in here. I mentioned this on the last video, as rosemary is a deer deterrent, plus it's an insect deterrent. So we have the rosemary and we have the cabbages in here spaced out pretty evenly. This bed is a 10-foot bed. We got 12 cabbages in it, and hopefully we'll be able to harvest some decent cabbage out of this particular bed. Now the next bed here is our carrot bed. The carrot bed this is a way, we have tons of videos on planting carrots, and I also have a book that I've wrote about planting carrots and growing carrots. We're very successful at it usually. So when this bed comes up, we will show you the results, but we have our fabric down on top of it to keep the carrot seeds damp and not beat down by rain and packed. The soil is sitting there waiting for the carrots to germinate underneath this, and as soon as they germinate, I will take this off of there. And then we'll put the hoops over this part also. Now this bed down here will strictly be for planting our onions, and that's what we have here from Dixondale. I bought 2 bundles of the Texas Legend, and I'm trying a new one this year, the Red Creole. The only reason I'm trying the Red Creole is because they say it has like a 6-month shelf life. If I can get an onion in my cooler to go 6 months, I'll be totally happy. So that's the 2 varieties we got, and we're going to try to get them spaced out down through here and see if we can't get these things planted. All right, our Red Creole. Now, I'm not really happy with the sets I got from Dixondale this year because they're not as good as they normally are. But what we're going to do is, onions don't require a huge area to grow, and you don't want them very deep. Maybe a 1/2 inch at the most. And I'm only going to put them about every 6 inches apart. So hopefully, and I can't complain because I have actually planted onions that we had, and if you go back and look at the videos, they were littler than this, and they grew up and made big, huge onions. So I guess they'll be okay. I'm just used to having big, large stuff to work with, and I guess you get spoiled to the good stuff, I reckon. Now, like I said, don't put them too deep. Maybe a 1/2 inch is about all you need. All right, we're going to continue to plant the onions, and if I don't have enough to fill this bed up, then when mine and the pots up yonder get big enough in the containers, we'll finish the bed out with the Savannah Sweets that we got from Hoss Tool. Guys, these are multiplying onions. These are the old-fashioned multiplying onions. I got these probably 20 years ago from central Mississippi, a little place up there called Williamsville, just outside of Philadelphia. And I'm going to tell you what, I have had them ever since. Now, we're not selling these. Please don't be sending me messages. We're trying to take these and get them started in multiple places so we don't ever run out. We're trying to create permaculture with a perennial type garden, one that just keeps on giving. And this is the onions that keeps on giving. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to pull up sporadic ones in here so that I kind of space these out a little bit better. They're nuts right now. Now these multiplying onions can be used in an array of different ways. You can freeze dry them. You can chop them up. You can put them in the freezer. Actually, I have a video showing a little machine that I have that you lay these green onions in it, and you just run a knife through it, and it just slices them into the perfect little sizes to put in the deep freeze. So a lot of these, what happened here is during the drought that we're still in, as a matter of fact, a lot of this stuff had started dying on the outside edges, and now that we got a little bit of rain, it's just turning into a slush stuff on the sides of it. So I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna pull up just every so often. I'm gonna pull one up to help kind of space out these bigger clumps here, so they can actually grow. And it's not gonna hurt to go ahead and transplant these immediately right now. It doesn't hurt, as long as I don't let them dry out. we'll be fine.
And the smell is awesome.
And I'll tell you what, the only thing that'd make it any better right now is if I had some scrambled eggs and this stuff cut up in it, because it's still ain't even daylight good yet.
You hear the rooster?
Yeah, the roosters is trying to let me know.
You could have scrambled eggs.
Yeah. I said scrambled eggs, and they got the crowing and got the carrying on there. But when we planted these, all we did was put one little small onion in the ground. And these suckers have multiplied like crazy. I'm going to smell like onions, Miss Wanda.
I know, but it smells so good.
It smells good out here. We're going to try to keep spacing these out. So what I'm doing is taking a lot of the smaller clumps out, because when I'm moving them over yonder, it doesn't matter if they're little or big or what, but I want to try to leave the big ones going, give them a little bit more space, and take the little ones with me. Get rid of some of the bad things off of it there. A lot of people would be tempted to grab all the old big ones and try to move them, and not me. I'm going to leave the big ones going, take the little ones, and we'll transplant the little ones.
And will these grow all winter?
Oh yeah, these grows all winter long. Cold weather usually don't even bother them. It may knock them back a little bit, but it doesn't hurt them. All right, guys, we're here to plant our onions, but first, I want to check the carrots because it's been so many days. I'd like to see if there's anything coming up under there yet. Now, if it hadn't been quite warm enough yet.
These cool days.
These cool days. It ain't quite warm enough.
Another day or so.
Another day or two. Of course, I always check both ends now. I don't just go with one end. Okay, we don't have anything yet. This here is the Red Creole Dixondale. I have a 168 Red Creoles. And then from here forward, I have the Texas Legend. I have 176 of them in the bed. Now, yes, they are very close together. But my thinking is, if they begin to bulb up really good and grow really good, I can take some of the littler ones out if Wanda and I need some onions, and give some of the other ones a little bit more space to make a bigger onion. That's the plan anyway. And then again, I may leave them all and just let them touch each other. I mean, I don't know. Depends on how it looks and how bad we want onions at the time. So now, we're going to get down here and see if we can't get these multiplying in. My cabbage is looking good.
Not as good as mine.
Not as good as Miss Wanda's, but then again, these are only a week. They hadn't even been in here but a week.
Yeah.
And they were really, really tiny when we got them.
They look pitiful.
They look really pitiful.
They're looking healthy now.
Now they're starting to look like they're getting ready to put on some root system to them. So hopefully, we're going to be able to get them jokers kicking off here.
Sometimes you can take bonnie plants that are almost beyond their prime and revive them, huh?
Yep, you can. I don't know what this is. Looks like a tongue nut or something.
We don't need tongue nuts.
Don't need no tongue nuts, that's for sure. Okay. I brought these big clumps of onions like this. I can sit down here. It's another reason for a nice raised bed when you get older. I'm going to put these like two to a clump. I'm not going to separate them into ones. And I'm going to just kind of dig down here a little bit. They don't have to be really deep. Push a little dirt up around them. Kind of help them get a little start there. Some of them may have 2, some of them may have 3 in them. I don't know. Whichever way it seems to work out best. And if I run out of space, guys, I got plenty more I can go get. This one has got a whole high tunnel full, plus we got a raised bed full. And we'll come back and kind of clean these up a little bit. But this is, I mean, this is all they are to it, really. Now, for those of you that don't have the ability to have a big raised bed, or don't have a big garden area or something like that, and you can't really raise any bulb onions, guys, you can buy these onions. Hoss Tools sells them. They're called, I believe it's called bunching onions or nesting onions. You can put them in a container. You can put them in a 5-gallon bucket. You can put them in a flower pot. If you take care of them and keep them with plenty of nitrogen and plenty of water, them babies will Cadillac, and you got onions all year long. You can just go out there, and these I call these cut and go, because you can cut them and they just keep on going. You know, I mean, ours is overgrown because we don't eat as many as grows, but they're always there if we need them. And you can have this. You can have the same thing where you live at. I mean, I'm just ecstatic looking at these.
I grew some pretty onions, didn't I?
Them things over there is beautiful, and I didn't even get the big pretty ones.
See, I can grow stuff.
I left them other ones over there in the big old bunches to.
You got a little one there.
I see him tagging along. He's just tagging along there. I'll lay him to the side. We're gonna put him out a little later. And I've already amended the soil here for those of you who want to know.
You're getting out of line.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. I'm sitting here looking at you.
Okay. I'm sorry.
There you go. That's a little better.
There's OCD now. I've already amended the soil. Because onions are a root crop too, I put this pretty heavy with 8-24-24, and onions like a neutral soil, so I put a lot of lime in it to help kind of get it there.
Danny can save his seed. We can make our cornmeal and our grits. And thank you, Joey from JT West. He sent us some Jimmy Red. Isn't that beautiful? So we're going to be using some of that too. This is braggadocio rice from McCaskill Family Farms. The organic 25-pound bag. Yeah, I stored it in the cooler. And down here, 25-pound bag of popcorn in the cooler. Some of this is seed corn. Some of this is for grinding. Then we have more corn. We have potatoes still. And some of our potatoes, I mean, we still get to eat fresh. There's still a few there. Now the fingerlings are starting to put on eyes. So I put some in the high tunnel and they're starting to grow. But this is what I came after. This is the German white garlic. It was sent to us by a subscriber, and we're fixing to add it to Danny's raised beds over there. Isn't this beautiful? We're going to see if we can grow some of this.
Guys, we've got the multiplying onions planted here. I think the bed's going to work out really good. This thing is amended with lots of cow manure down in it and everything, so I mean that's going to be a good deal there. Now, and Miss Wanda, while I was working planting those, she went back and went into the cooler, and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Dusty sent us some German white garlic here, probably in the summertime, I think it was when he sent it, after he harvested it anyway. And it's good. I did the looking up on it. It's good in zones 4 through 9. We're in zone 8, so it's a hardneck garlic. So I said, you know what? I have enough to plant this whole bed right here. So I'm going to give it a try. I've never grown the German white garlic before, but it was such big, beautiful cloves, and it being in the cooler. Now, our walk-in cooler was set on 45 degrees, which is more than ample enough stratification. So it's had plenty of time for stratification. So we're going to actually plant it, and we're going to see how it does this year. Now, we'll be planting our other garlics from Deepsouth Homestead over here, our elephant garlics, but we'll be doing them in some different areas. We're going to experiment here with this raised bed and just see how this goes. Now, I've got 50-something cloves here. So what I figure I'm going to do is I'm going to figure 4 rows of these and see if I can. I want to kind of get some spacing here. Maybe a little bit closer there, a little bit closer here. And I'm going to do 15 long. So I'll get my spacing about right. Wow, worked out perfect. Okay, and I'm going to have a little space because I only got 56 or 57 of them here, so I'm not going to have the full 60. So where we lacking at, I'm going to plant a rosemary plant there. So now when you plant the garlic, a lot of people are probably going to ask this question. The garlic has a root end and a pointed end. This is where the actual plant will come out up here. You want to put the root end down into the soil. I don't like going real deep. Maybe 2 inches, 2.5 inches deep is what I will go. I'll push them down just with my hands like that, because our soil here is really soft since I did the beds. And I'm not going to cover them up just yet, because as I do my other rows, I want to be able to see where these are actually at. I've got them all stuck in here, pretty evenly spaced. I can see them all. I'm pretty well satisfied with the way it looks. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cover them up. And all I do to cover them up, I don't do anything fancy. I mean, I just get dirty. You know, I just take my hands and cover them up to the tops of them. You know, that's nothing fancy. All right, for those of you who don't have the raised beds, like we mentioned on the multiplying onions, you can do the garlic in containers also. Just remember, garlic is a heavy nitrogen feeder, so it's going to need a good bit of nitrogen once it starts to put its little leaves up. It's going to need a good bit of water and a good bit of nitrogen up front. Once you get it up and get it going, 10, 10, 10, triple 13, stuff like that. Just a well-balanced fertilizer is really all garlic needs. It just needs a little bit more, if you want really big garlic, it just needs a little bit more nitrogen than it does anything else really. And one thing, garlic is kind of like an onion. The bigger you get the plant before it begins to bulb, the more leaves you have coming up, the bigger the clove of garlic is going to be for you too. So you want to make sure you fertilize it good at least once a month. Don't don't skimp. That's where many times we don't get the nutrition to our plants that we need, because we try to skimp, and we shouldn't do that. Guys, it's been raining here for 3 days now, light rain. Look, it's still dry down in there.
We ain't even got an inch of rain, have we?
We're almost up to an inch. Been getting light, drizzly rain now for 3 days.
Which is awesome.
We're thankful for what we got.
But it hadn't went down into the deep depths yet.
It ain't went to the depths of the soil yet. Now the next thing I got to do, I was in town the other day and I had them cut me 10 3/8-inch rebars, 2 foot long. I got to get a bunch more cut, and I got to get me a roll of PEX tubing, 1/2 inch. We're gonna go through here and finish making hoops over the whole entire bed, and then I'm gonna cover it with a good frost blanket. There's nothing here that needs pollinating or anything like that, so the frost blanket will help keep the insects out, keep the deer from eating up everything, and Water can pass through it. It'll be easy to pull off if we need to pull it off to do something. And it will protect our plants from a lot of different things. Now the main thing is going to be the cabbage and the carrots, because insects just love to get to it, and deer like to eat them. So hopefully we get that agrifab frost blanket on it. We won't have to worry about that problem. So guys, we thought we'd carry you along on this journey here at Pecan Grove on planting our 60-foot raised bed. Thank you guys from Deepsouth Homestead.